Hello, everybody. Welcome to our social. So, as always, if you are not able to make it to the digital version, we will upload this here soon once it gets loaded onto our YouTube channel. As everybody knows, COVID is still an issue. So we've got some things to talk about, but it'll also be a pretty open day for us. So if anybody has some things that they want to bring up, talk about, ask about, by all means, there will be plenty of time to do so. To the other GMs, what do we want to start off with?
Probably a status update at this point. I think given the current increase in numbers, we're definitely, we were obviously right to go ahead and cancel the event. That was going to happen. That was originally scheduled last weekend. I think we're pretty good for doing the virtual game night event that we're planning at the end of this month. That being said, make sure all of you guys show up, participate. We've done a couple test runs, and we're really excited just to have a chance to get together and just have fun, pretty much for that event.
I don't know that we've actually announced it yet. So
we talked about it a little bit, but yeah, basically it'll be the 25th.
Yeah. So for those of you guys that are in the meeting, are you familiar with Jackbox? Seeing some no's. The GMs and the staff did a dry run of it back at the beginning of the month here a few days ago. And it basically, we had the assistance of Angela's Matt. He was running a Twitch stream of a game, series of games called Jackbox. And essentially what it is it's an interactive game system where people can jump into the game from anywhere using a cell phone, tablet, computer, things like that. And all you need is just your device, so you can use cell phone to be able to jump in, but you can also watch the stream from another device, like a TV that can access Twitch, or a computer that can access Twitch. And so we're going to be putting up an event here. I'll do it today so that it gets put up on the page for a Jackbox game night. I'll reach out to Matt and check and see what times he is interested in hosting it.
Normal Saturday stream is 2 to 6 or 2 to 7.
Okay. Gotcha. So, cool. So it'll probably be within that time frame. May not be the whole time. We'll check and see what Matt is good to do. But he's already said that he was interested in it, so that's going to be fun. Jackbox is a whole series of different games, and a lot of interaction between players. Sometimes it asks questions about other players, so we kind of get to know each other a little bit. Sometimes it's general trivia. Sometimes it's just luck of the draw.
Sometimes it's math.
Yeah. But it's all silly and
gross.
Yeah, and so we thought this might be a good opportunity to have some of the social interaction that none of us are really getting in a digital way. We also had jumped onto the Discord at the same time, and we were chatting with each other voice through Discord. So by all means, feel free. We'll probably do that again so that we can chat, hang out, or we can put up another Zoom, but that might get more complicated. I don't know. But yeah, thoughts on that?
And these games are a lot of fun. I mean, it's just fun just to, there's a couple of them that are kind of force you to be a little creative, and it's not, and then players get to vote on this answer or that answer. So it's just a really neat way to interact. And I had a lot of fun when we did the dry run. So.
Yeah, Rick has this uncanny ability to dominate at one of the games. Even if he starts out poorly, he will somehow find the unnatural ability to power through everything else and come out ahead.
I may or may not be a bastion of useless trivia knowledge, so.
Praise Ren.
Praise Ren. How else can you spin facts? I mean, hey.
All right, yeah. It's a lot of fun though, guys. And so if this event goes well, we may end up looking at making it more of a staple possibly for us, especially right now with what's going on in the world and as little physical interaction as we can have. This will at least give us something where we can continue to meet up, get together, and do things. So that's about it on that one.
Yep. Oh, Tanis is dancing over there.
All right. Well, COVID update, guys, like Rick was saying earlier, not much is changing. We're still kind of in a holding pattern. We are keeping the events on the Facebook page currently, and as we get close to each event, we're making the decision whether or not to keep it or cancel it. Honestly, though, based with the numbers, I think the GMs all kind of agree. We're kind of looking at it's probably going to be a little while before we get back together. As sad as we all are with that, we wish that wasn't the case.
The city count for, at least for Springfield, the city council will be voting tomorrow for whether they're going to do a citywide mask ordinance or not. Whether that passes or not, even if it does pass, that definitely prevents some issues for in-game at all, in person. But it's going to be a little while. Numbers that I've heard from some people, the chief operating officer of the bank that I work for, and I'm friends with her. She sits on the board for Cox Health, and they're not seeing any dwindling on any numbers on their end.
He's not either, as far as I can tell.
Yeah. Yeah, everything that I've been seeing and everything that I've been hearing is that numbers are going up and not down.
So ideally, doing the virtual game night like we're talking about at the end of this month, if you guys have any virtual ideas that you guys want to toss to us, I mean, as players, feel free. We'll do, we're open to trying new things. We're all kind of in this weird experimentation type thing right now since LARP, the definition of LARP is kind of changing in a lot of ways. I've read online about people doing parlor LARPs basically via Zoom or via, these type of interactions. So there's lots of different options. I think being creative with it, or just finding creative ways that we can all get together and just have fun. That's the big thing.
Yeah. And I think it's also important to note that even though there are a lot of options, some things are a bit difficult just out of the gate, and it's going to take some time and some working on to try to perfect or make work. Also, I know, speaking from experience, but also from a lot of the people I've worked with, people are exhausted over all of this. this is a very taxing situation, and so creative energies are not always as high as what they might be. But yeah, like Rick said, if you have ideas, shoot them to us. We are never going to say don't throw ideas our way. We will gladly take them and try to see what we can do. We might change it a little bit to try to make it work for the group as a whole. But yeah, shoot the ideas towards us. We love to hear them. What about you guys? What have you guys been working on?
Yeah, that's
Armor.
So Matt, what, you have 12 sets of armor now?
Well, as odd as it is, I kind of get rid of the old and
Okay.
then kind of redo some new stuff. Like the belt that I had, I still have it, but I'm not using it. I'm using something a little bit smaller, a little bit more detailed. I think the other one didn't. It didn't resonate completely with me, so I had to change things up. And then if this works, then I'll stick with it. But if it doesn't, I'll make something new.
Of course.
But the pauldrons are done. The gauntlets are done. I'm still working on the gorget, and then I got to tool that out. But yeah, like this time down is giving me more time to focus on like the wearable aesthetic.
You're going to come in and Tanis is going to look completely different.
Damn near, yeah. Aside from the tabard, I see, and I thought about changing the tabard as well to maybe something gray. I don't know. I just picked up a bunch of like stuff. I'm like, oh, this would be great. This would be great. So we'll see. There's so many options, and now with all this time, it's like, you know, spend time with Remy, sleep, and craft. That's about it.
So did you repurpose and redo the existing metal that you had and repaint it, or did you do something completely different?
Nah, I still stuck with it. There's like, so it's the steel plate underneath, and then I put the leather over the top. You know what? I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you all real quick. Oh, that was heavy. Okay. Oh, crap. Hold this for a second. Thank you. Okay. All right, so I know I've shown you this stuff. And then top part, this.
Not bad.
The form itself is a bastardization of the show The Musketeers, the pauldron that they wear, where that one's a 5-piece, this one's only a 3-piece. But you know, had to do what I could with what I had, and I didn't want to get too intricate, especially if after I put it all together it doesn't function well. So I figured, and all this can be taken apart and I can make changes if I need to. But as far as my plan to put it together, it definitely worked. It came together, you know, and it's all safe. It's all edible, you know, like if Remy wants to chew on it, she can chew on it. It's okay. But yeah, and it's kind of heavy, but at the same time, it's, what's the word, articulated. Like it has ways to move when you're wearing it. It's like it's not
It's flexible.
yeah, and it's not cumbersome at all. Not really.
That's good.
Yeah, but once I get the belt done, then I'll start working on the boots because I've already started working on like greaves that go all the way up. That's okay. Oh, that's nice. I like that.
I've learned.
Cool. Oh, go ahead.
I say I've learned greaves are very important because when you wear armor, the first thing people go after is your feet and your ankles.
Yes.
As
Or your
Angela
crotch.
smiles because she's guilty of it.
Yeah, she is. Holy cow.
Say, you gonna wear armor? I'm gonna go for the parts that don't got armor.
Edibility is my favorite quality of armor now. I hope you know that.
Those look awesome, Matt. I definitely like the leather over the top of it. It blends together,
Awesome.
and it very much fits Tanis's character.
Yeah. That's something else. I said all this time down, I have to try to think about, the character as a whole and what ways I can help to define my character and what he's wearing, or to create a story that can add more depth to my character. And like I've got a couple stories that I write while I'm laying in bed, and if I can't sleep or if I haven't fell asleep yet, I try to add little bits here and there to each one, and then when it comes to fruition, then that's when I put it out. But I have a lot of downtime, and LARP is all I think about. If it's not about the wife and Remy or the other kids, it's like, what could I be doing to focus more on my character? Or building the game, but that's came from LARP, so it's like,
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I get that. I think about LARP all the time myself. So like I understand. Half the time it's about mechanics and then like players but yeah, no, I completely get that.
You need to fill out Kaylin's journals.
I know that. But what you were saying about how every decision you were making with the armor is purposeful, it builds to the story. That is the ideal kind of approach to building a kit for your character. Is why does your character have this? What do they use this for? What is it good for? What would they carry with them as they're walking through the woods? What would they carry with them? Do they go back to their bunk every night, or do they carry most of their stuff with them? Those are kinds of things to ask yourself to try to help figure out the kit for your character.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Is like I have to be able to be light enough to stay functional with my swordplay, but also be able to endure more hits, wherever they may come. And I tried with the whole chain and plate. It's too heavy. Rick, I don't even know how you do it, because I put that stuff on and it just couldn't.
You do not rely on agility. It's all you plod around like a tank.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. I even tried it with chainmail and leather, and even that was just too like. I was like a hot dog, I was like got the meat in the inside of the casing. And I was just like, I'm coming to get you, it wasn't functional.
Sure.
So I had to.
You have your chainmail belted correctly.
I'm a little bit bigger, broader up here than I am around my midsection. So when I bought it, I just took in consideration the width of my chest and not so much my waist. So it was kind of floppy down there, and it was like I felt like I was wearing a dress, but it was too tight in the shoulders and around the chest. So that could have been it. That I wasn't.
Yeah,
Okay.
and technically it should be that way a lot. It ends up being that way just because most of the time your waist is going to be, it's not going to fit correctly all the way, from the chest down. But what Angela's talking about, and I experienced myself, was making sure you had that when you belted it tight, because that way your hips were carrying, the weight tends to droop more on your hips when you belt it that way. And so it takes a little bit off the shoulders. At least it feels that way when I do it, belt it that way.
Okay.
And so that is, yeah, no, that's true. And
Distribute the weight better, so
Yeah.
it doesn't feel as heavy.
right. Because whenever it's especially if you don't belt at all, that sway that chain's going to give you're going to feel like you're just kind of waddling along.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the big test is putting everything on and go running through the woods, and if I'm not too wore out or, then it's good,
Yeah.
but,
And you will be worn out unless you get used to chainmail. There was older LARP group up from St. Louis. Two of their guys they used to train in chainmail, and I'm like, yeah, nope, I'm not that hardcore. Sorry.
I have a LARP friend who I met through Amped Guard, but he plays other games up in St. Louis now. He did MMA, and he would wear the chainmail to do endurance training for his MMA.
It's the perfect weighted vest. I mean, if for physical training, but yeah, there's, Ufnar, Angela would know Ufnar. Ufnar was the one that trained a lot, and yeah, the guy was hardcore anyway. But nope, I'm not that tough.
yeah. Same boat. This guy.
What about everybody else? Anybody else been working on anything?
Yeah, go read my comic if you haven't already.
It is really good.
Yep. It's so you guys are in a competition, right?
Yep.
So based on views or ratings?
A third of the score is based on traffic and interaction. So likes, shares, subscribes, comments, just reading through the whole thing. Those are all helpful things.
Gotcha.
How do I find it?
If
Angela,
you go,
share it to the chat.
I think you're muted, Angela.
I think she's looking for it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That one's replacement, right?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I read through it. I mean, read through it, like it, subscribe, all of that.
Yeah, I've been seeing that one kind of floating around lately. Been meaning to check it out. I definitely will.
Yeah, Angela and Chrissy have been working on some comic strands for a while now, and they took this opportunity to jump into this competition to write this one, and they were able to finish it in time, and it's pretty good. There we go. It is in the chat there, guys. Feel free to click on it. Take a look. I know they would really appreciate it. Anybody else? What have you guys been working on? What are you doing?
Myself, I've been more trying to plan for Amend, trying to get some character backstory stuff built for him, coming into basically to explain this dead time that we're going through right now. So I'm hoping to have some stuff created on that. The other thing is I got to work on Simon's armor and doing some maintenance on that. That's going to be fun.
Right.
Gun oil is never fun to play with.
From my understanding, it's messy.
I found online someone recommended some other stuff. I forget the name of it offhand now, so I may check it out. It's a little more expensive, but I've been told it's supposed to be a lot less messier, a lot less, like, it doesn't get everywhere. It starts off with aerosol and then you wipe everything down. So
yeah, nice.
I'm gonna be scrubbing. There showed up some rust on the plate, so I've got to scrub it off, which is going to be fun. Not.
What do you use to get rid of your rust?
Well, I found a recipe online on a YouTube video from a European LARPer that I tried, and it didn't work very well. So I'm probably going to end up going someone mentioned doing CLR and doing something similar with that. So I may try going that route. But the recipe that the European guy had was kosher salt and vinegar. So the kosher salt acts as the abrasive, and
Right.
then the vinegar takes it off. But then you've got to immediately wipe it down, dry it, and then he used mineral oil on it. But I'm thinking mineral oil is just not strong enough for it. So I'll probably need to get something else. So that's why I'm probably going to look at either this other stuff I found or the gun oil.
Yeah, you can just use straight vinegar to soak it in there, and then take either like an SOS pad or even a green pad, and after you just let it soak for a little bit, this stuff will come right off, and then your piece has to be completely dry before you add anything else to it, whether it be gun oil or WD-40 or whatever.
Yeah, and I've heard avoid WD-40, not for the metal, but the straps. WD-40 will mess up the straps. So.
Right.
Yeah, that's one thing. Armor, I've never really dove into understanding all the details about it. Well, that day will come someday. With the ridiculously large tower shield that I bought, eventually I will have a armored character.
How big is that shield, by the way?
Big.
I can almost fit behind it, like hide behind it. So
Yeah.
it's pretty big.
Here, hold my water. Get it out of the closet.
April's gonna
It
get
has
it.
its own closet.
Well, that's our LARP closet.
Okay.
Real quick, back on the subject of armor preservation, there is a substance for long-term storage called Armour's wax. That is the best thing for your long-term preservation of anything. So if you're going to let something sit in a garage for like a summer or whatever, you might consider some of that.
Do you just find that on Amazon, Ryan?
You might actually have to go to something like museum replicas or something like that. I'd have to investigate, but.
Okay. Yeah, I'd be interested in knowing about that myself. Dang, that thing's huge.
Yep.
Holy cow.
So, where am I? Okay, so from the bottom of my neck, or from about my shoulders to my knees.
You don't really need armor with that. I mean, that is the armor.
Yeah. You better hope a heavy wind doesn't pull you off into the trees or something.
I'll just get a new ability called Fight.
It'll catch the wind. It'll blow you around.
Oh,
I don't think that's a safe ability that we can use in LARP. Sorry.
dang it.
I've had days where even just my round shield catches a good breeze.
As long as it doesn't do it in the middle of a fight, that's the key.
Right. Hey, if it blocks the hit, then we're good.
Yeah, but if it doesn't, then you take damage.
But yeah, I was buying stuff from Epic, and I was like, you know what? I might as well go ahead and get it. And so I bought it, and now it's just a matter of waiting until I build the character and figuring out what logo I want on it to modify it, because it's just a blank. So
The outside of it is so like rubberized
yeah, it's got a lot of grip to it.
that we went and bought a crib sheet to put on it because just testing it here, swung a weapon at it, the weapon stuck to it and like skidded down it.
Yeah,
That's
those
awesome.
crib sheets are really good to use for that, and you can. Nice thing is you can paint that too if you want to put your design on that sheet.
Yeah. And I might just to like test it out for a while, but I think once I settle on a design, I don't even know who the character is yet, but once I settle on a logo design, I'm gonna try to put it on there and make it permanent.
No, you're not going into the large closet. Much as you want to.
But Tabaxi the Barbarian wants a tower shield.
Jeff and Caddy are saying.
Wouldn't be the first time.
It won't be the last.
Oh, Claire, it's been a while since we've seen you. How are you doing?
I've been good. I've been good. I've mainly been working. I work 5 days a week, so.
Yeah, I understand. They just pulled me back to working on site where I work, so it's fun.
I haven't really worked on Nova that much. Those box designs I still have, I haven't actually done anything with them.
Sure. Well, I know you were talking about having Nova go and stay with her people for a little bit. You still thinking about going that direction with her?
Yeah, if they make this other Naga character, maybe. But I haven't actually worked on her either, so.
Sure. I'm excited to see what you do with the Naga character. In like of mythological creatures, Naga is one of my favorites. So I'm excited to see what you do with it.
I'm still upset that Naga helmet and mask wound up being for a doll. So angry.
Yeah.
The design was so nice.
Hey, if we can find a digital version of it, we can always print it out and make it in foam. Jeff
got a new toy.
Oh yeah, I was going to ask what have you been doing with your new toy?
Not a whole lot. I've done some test prints on it.
But he's okay.
And part of it is finding the time and the creative energy to work with it. But for those of you guys that don't know, it is a silhouette printer. It uses blades to cut material rather than to print on the material. And so it can cut foam, it can cut leather, paper, all kinds of stuff. It does have a certain millimeter width. It can go up to 3 millimeter max, which I think is an upgrade to the one that Angela has. But that means that once I learn more about it and get the proper blades for it, we can do some cutting of leather and maybe make bags or make pouches and maybe even small armor pieces. Or just a whole crap ton of leather scale mail.
You can be the one to put that together.
Actually, I remember you showing me the video on that. That's a lot of work.
It is, but it like for that character that I was talking about making, that's kind of where I'm leaning, is doing that as design. And I think that putting that time into it will be rewarding, because I think it'll look fantastic.
That cheek meat. I'll eat that cheek meat.
I see a kitty.
I'm gonna eat that cheek meat.
We got cute kitties and a absolutely good boy.
Pupperino. You're not a pupperino.
So guys, what
Yes, I know.
can we do for you guys? And I know we don't have everybody on the meeting here, but this goes out to everybody who's watching it as well. As a group, what can we do to help support you guys? Because we know that times can be challenging and everybody needs different things. What can we do to help? Is there anything we can do to help?
I think definitely having these socials help. You know, it keeps us in contact with each other. You know, it gives us these opportunities to talk about, you know, things we haven't talked about to anybody else, you know, because we're either at home or working or, you know, whatever, what have you. And this is a big, I mean, I know it's a big thing for me. You know, these are the moments I look forward to. You know, I set my calendar to LARP stuff. It's like, hey, social at 2, you know, let's do whatever we're doing and get home, you know.
Be ready.
I like to have, you know, goals. You know, I'll make a list, try to stick to the list. So if it's, you know, it's just one of those things to look forward to, and it really helps me out personally.
Good. I'm glad, and I know that's one of the reasons why we've kept doing it, is so that we keep having that opportunity for at least a little bit of the outlet. April, did you have something? Okay. Anybody else needing anything?
Because April has prescription glasses now.
She does.
I want to see.
I'm only a fan of
So
them.
did she.
I argued with Ryan for years. I don't need glasses. I can see just fine. I can still see just fine, but I can see the TV a lot better and read things on the TV a lot better. Because for some reason, the text in video games is getting smaller and smaller in the menus.
Yeah, that's why I have my glasses the same way. Mine aren't, I mean, even though mine are prescription, I can drive without them. I can play with game without them, do all that stuff. But when it comes to reading a computer screen, which is where I spend most of my day at work, these help.
You know, I refuse to wear these while driving. Like, there was the first couple of days I had them, I tried to walk down the stairs here at the apartment, and I'm just like, I can't do stairs.
You want the camera so people can see him?
She looks dorbs.
And I'll come up here and say hi. But my suggestion that I would potentially like to see, because there are a few of us that are craving more social interaction, if there's a possibility that we can have 2 socials a month instead of just the one, a regular social time and a social during what would have been game time. And I don't know, I had a second thing and now I don't remember it. Give me 5 minutes and I might.
Okay. So, but what you were saying is have more of these socials kind of
Just one more.
Okay.
I mean, more than 2 would be freaking great, but it's kind of unrealistic.
Well, we can take a look at it and we can see. And if we did something like that, it might be something where maybe one GM jumps in and leads the meeting. Because right now we try to have all of us here if we can. But if we do multiple a month, it might just be 1 or 2 of us at a time with everybody else. That might be able to happen, yeah. We can look at it and see what options we got.
Oh, just having, I have a hard time sometimes thinking about LARP when I'm not around LARP people. So like during these things, like having people ask me questions about my character, it would all be out of character knowledge, and depending on what you're asking. But just making me or other people think about things about your character that you wouldn't have thought of, or that you should have but have forgotten to think about.
So maybe like
Character development, stick, jab, jab, poke, poke.
maybe having a meeting where like the topic of the meeting is, all right, ask people about their characters type of thing.
Yeah, but like one at a time, not like everybody all at once.
Yeah, so like one person will be up, so like Matt would be up, and we would all get a chance to ask Matt about his character, and then we'd move over to somebody else and ask them questions. Something like that?
Yeah.
Okay. We will, yeah, we can take a look at that and see what we can do. Any other thoughts?
Do we as a whole need anything? Like, or do we, like when we do start back up, is there anything the story that's been culminating? Because I don't know what the GMs have planned, but is there anything that is needed? You know, like material things or specific garbs need to be made, or
I bought a key.
You bought a what?
I
A key.
forgot.
She's excited about this key. That's a good question, Matt. Let the GMs kind of take that back and we can discuss it and see if there's anything that we can think of. I know story-wise right now there's two big kind of story arcs that we're working with, and that is the rogue magics that are going on, and also the order and the death of Siegfried, and all of that
Oh yeah,
coming
there's
to a culmination.
weird time magic and lich stuff going on.
Yeah, there's some weird magics that are happening.
I can think of one specific thing, prop-wise, that if you wanted to work on, that we could definitely utilize, and that is painting some Nerf guns. If we had some Nerf guns that looked a little bit, we actually have a supply of them as well, if you wanted to borrow them or anything like that, that looked a little bit more fantastical or less Nerf brand, that is a prop that we will be utilizing at some point in the future. So
More muskety.
I was just about to ask if you want muskets, I can fashion out some muskets. Just tell me how many you want. And I've already got the PVC, and there's plenty of wood that I have in the yard. And if you want to fit rival, the little Nerf rival ones,
yeah,
too easy. Like
the big thing about if you do anything for Nerf wise is to leave the orange safety tips on them, and the big things that signify that it is a toy gun and not a real gun.
Yeah, and what Ryan is asking is about modifying the ones that we have. And Matt, I know before you've talked about possibly trying to create some.
If you want to do that, that'd be awesome, but that is also wildly unnecessary. We just need some props that look a little bit better than what we got.
Right. If you do want to try to make something that fits the Nerf rival things, feel free to try it out, but just keep in mind it's going to go through rigorous testing with us, the GMs.
Yeah, it'll be harder to measure how hard it's shooting. Like the Nerf brand they have it set to a specific thing, it's manufactured to a specific way. If you build it yourself, you're not going to have that kind of control. So,
unless you were to get like a freaking chronometer. Yeah, which is, again, not necessary. Yeah, and a bit overkill.
Yep. But
I'll see what I can do. I'll fashion one out and then give it to you guys to play with, and then it'll be simple enough the way if you like it, I can make more. I probably won't go too many, but probably like between 4 and 6 of them. Yeah, we'll see. Muskets, blunderbuss, or flintlocks. We can do it all. We got it. We have the power. We have the technology.
Think simple first. Don't go too deep into the engineering spectrum, because I know how your mind works, and I do the same thing. But yeah, just keep in mind there's a strong possibility that it may not get approved just for safety reasons, and not that we don't want you to try and create things, but we just want to make sure people are safe first and foremost. Do you want to show?
Yes.
Okay.
So I have this bad habit of going to the thrift store that's closest to the house when I have like a really bad day, and I go there and I find something and I spend money on it. So the last time that I had a bad day, I went and found 2 things. Well, more, but this is LARP related stuff. I got a painted metal box. It's painted like gold and bronze, and it's just neat, and it's textured on top. And it's got a latch where you could lock it. But there we go. The other cool thing I got was a key. Because Dwarf wanted a key.
Ready.
That's awesome.
It's a solid hunk of metal. And there was talk of an ability eventually that was mentioned at one point called Skeleton Key as a version of Lockpick. I know how to do words in order. And I was thinking if that ever came to fruition, I could use that. If not, oh well, I got a cool looking key.
So if you were to start unlocking doors secretly as you pass by, would that be picklocketing?
So funny story. The D&D Pathfinder campaign where Zaravica was originally formed, myself and a rat folk character named Stan went to a catfolk village at night and put padlocks on all their doors while they were all inside, just to lock them in their houses for shits and giggles.
Chaos!
That is not something that Zaravica would do anymore. That was her past life.
I don't know. Zaravica's done some things like murdering a merchant that...
You see, that was for the money. That wasn't just for shenanigans, though. She's not in for shenanigery lately. She's getting old.
She is getting old.
Maybe too fast.
Oh, I'm so happy I thought of that plot line for myself. I can't, I don't know how I want to do it, but I'm going to do it anyway.
So,
I'm excited for it.
good. Anybody else have any things that they need or anything that they want to talk about?
Speaking back on armor and stuff, you guys know what my coat of plates look like, yes? Can you think of a way that I could clean the rust off of the back of the plates since they're riveted to the cloth?
If you feel so inclined to drill out the rivets, and then you can put either Chicago screws or new rivets into it. But as far as like cleaning the stuff to get the rust off with everything still on it, you know, you may end up doing more damage to like either the straps or the rivets that are already there, trying to get the intricate parts out. It's just cost-wise, it's just more efficient to drill them out and then replace them.
What are Chicago screws? How do those work, Matt?
They are rivets that can screw together. It's two pieces, and one has either a Phillips or a standard head on one end, and you put the one end in, the other one just screws right into it, and you want to tighten it up, or if it's going to be a permanent fixture, you just add a little bit of glue to it, because once it's together and tight enough, the whole thing will rotate when you're screwing. It's more of a if you plan on doing something with it later, put a Chicago screw in instead of a rivet, and you can change out straps, other pieces, just all kinds of stuff. And if you need some, I have some. Just let me know what size you're dealing with, and I can either mail them to you, drop them off, whatever.
Rick, do you remember the brown goggles that I bought from Dragonfest?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Rivets that are on the elastic straps are Chicago screws.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a slight price difference in Chicago screws versus for the basic Chicago screws versus basic rivets, but it's almost negatable whenever you're buying them in bulk or anything like that. I try to use Chicago screws any times that I'm doing rivets for anything.
I'm asking partially because with the plate, eventually I know I'm gonna have to take those rivets out and replace straps and stuff. So it's good to know that that's an alternative that I can go for with that.
Yep.
She's so big. When did she get big?
That's Melody.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
My glasses aren't that dirty. What the hell?
Yeah, that's Melody. I can go find Nyx if you want to see her.
Maybe.
Okay.
We all went to see the baby kitty.
So she's not so much of a baby anymore.
Right?
More like
She's still a baby.
more like a rebellious teenager.
Probably still slonky.
So, guys, I'll take this opportunity. Well, no.
There's the
Back.
slonky baby.
Presentation, Kat.
She's one tomorrow. It's almost her birthday.
Aw.
Everybody see your pretty eyes.
I continually forget how small Storm is compared to, I don't know, normal cats.
Storm is surprisingly small compared to.
Storm is a little one.
Yeah,
Is she over there?
yeah, she's
You're
over.
a tiny baby.
See, my cats are all both chunks right now, so
Chunk kitties need love too.
they do.
One of my boys is going to be a chunky boy, and he's the most active cat I have. He's just doomed.
I don't have cats
Thank you.
anymore. All I have is dogs.
Hey,
Oh.
dogs are good boys too.
Yep.
Yeah. Heck yeah, puppers.
Yeah, Scout's been sleeping at the foot of our bed in our bedroom the last couple weeks. Just fireworks have been driving him up the wall. So now that those are finally starting to settle down, he's finally starting to be a little less anxious, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, they're settled down around here. They're still shooting them off every night over here.
They stopped over here because police kept visiting our neighborhood like every other night because of it.
We live just this far from the edge of the city. Like, we can see it from our yard, and so they're just all the time. It's like, oh, stop it.
Because they can't stop us.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Never stop, never stopping.
All right. Well, guys, anything else? Any other topics, questions? You guys have given us a little bit of stuff to kind of go back with to our next GM meeting to talk about and see what we can come up with. All right. Well, let me take this opportunity, guys. If you do have things that come up, if you have questions, if you have something, you just want to get a hold of the GMs and say, hey, wanted to send this your way or anything like that, you can always reach out to us through the Facebook page, message us on there. You can reach out to us through the website. And we also have a new email address that is for all the GMs. And it's meadowmeregms@gmail.com. I threw it in the chat there if anybody wants it. That will come to all of us so that you guys can reach us all at the same time. And some of you guys will just create a group on Facebook Messenger and add us all to it, and that's fine too. We may not always be able to respond right away, but we will do our best to communicate and be there with you guys. So, any final notes from the other GMs?
Nope.
All right. Well, guys, be looking for an event for the Jackbox games later today. And I'll get that up and shared to everybody. Invite all of our players. This is going to be trying to do something to be able to socialize with you guys. And you know what? Invite your friends too. Why not? Because there's so many slots for it that you can jump in and participate. But then after those slots, a lot of the games allow the audience to be able to still participate and even affect the game on who wins. I almost won some points on one of the rounds and then went the other direction to Rick.
Pick me.
Right, Ryan.
So, but with that being said, guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for playing in our game and being a part of our community. I can't even begin to tell you how important it is to us and how much that means. So thank you so much. Be safe out there, and hopefully we'll see you guys soon.
Miss you all. We're looking forward to it.
Miss you guys.